Okay, so today I'm gonna be showing you guys how to paint a pedal. Well, how I paint a pedal. Something quick and easy. So, of course, what you're gonna do first is take your pedal apart, and make sure you put all the stuff in a Ziploc bag, all the little things, because you can lose them very easily. So I just put them in a Ziploc bag. So just take every single thing apart, and it should come apart easily. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. So after that, important thing you're gonna need is this. You can find this at a hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, or whatever hardware store is near you. It's called Paint Stripper, and I've been using this one for years for a lot of stuff. This will take any paint. This will take any paint off on almost everything, any finish. So be careful when you spray this. I'm using this cardboard right here, so you just want to spray what you are working on, because if it lands somewhere else, it will take the finish off. And you may want to wear gloves. I really don't wear gloves because I'm used to working with this, but it kind of burns your hand. It burns it a little bit. It's not that bad. So I guess if you're finicky with that kind of stuff, or you have skin allergies, you're better off putting gloves on. But okay, so you'll need that, and you'll need one of these plastic spatulas. You don't need it, but it'll be a little easier, so you could scrape the paint off. Either or, it doesn't have to be special. You could use whatever, actually, whatever's at your disposal. There's nothing that important. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna spray this. You could even use a rag. The paint just comes off. You don't even have to scrape it off or sand it off. So this is gonna just make it fly off. So it takes about 10 minutes. For some pedals that are really painted really good, like they have primer and all that stuff, it may take another spray of this, or three sprays. So okay, I'll be back with I'm gonna spray it right now, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm gonna spray it right now, and I wouldn't recommend you to do this indoors, but if you must, because some of us don't have garages or whatever, you could. It's not a big deal. So you're just gonna spray it like this. That's how it looks. Kind of shake it a little, and it looks like a foam. So spray it like this. Just cover it. Make sure you cover it like with it. You don't have to spend a lot of this. I bought this maybe like a year ago, and it's still good. You don't need much unless you're doing a bunch of these, but it takes a little bit of spray. So you see how I just covered it? So what you're gonna do, you're just gonna leave it there. You're just gonna let it sit for 5 minutes. So I'm not gonna sit here 5 minutes so you guys can see. So I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so here's the end result of using the paint stripper. You see, took it down to the metal, all the way to the metal. And you may want to use some Q-tips to clean the paint that was left in these holes. Maybe something thinner for stuff like that. Let me see. So that's how it should look like in like 20 minutes. And as you can see, it did leave a mess. So instead of a plastic scraper, you might want to use a metal one, because I think this was kind of melting, but a metal one would scrape it better. So another tip is, once you have it like this, be sure to wash it down with water. Take off all the chemical of the stripper, because you don't want to start painting it and have the new paint be stripped, have a chemical reaction with the stripper. So that's how it looks. And if you want to go, sometimes you have these little stubborn little paint spots. If you don't want to hit it up with the stripper again, just grab a finishing sandpaper and just make sure it's smooth, because you want it smooth. You want any surface you're gonna paint, you want it smooth, because paint doesn't hide anything. Paint never hides bumpy surfaces, so you always want it to be smooth. So you could just hit it up like this real quick. Doesn't have to be something, a long project. Just how I'm doing it. Just for the parts that were stubborn, didn't really want to come off. So alright, so there you go. That's how it should look, and it's getting ready to paint. So next video is the painting process. And you might just want to throw this away carefully in the trash and get a new cardboard to paint, or whatever you're using. I'll be back for the painting process. Okay, so we've gotten here to the next step. I brought it all the way to the metal after using the paint stripper. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna paint it. So what you want to do is get a cardboard box or whatever, newspaper, cover areas you don't want to get painted. So just general common sense. So what I'm gonna paint it with this spray can here, Rust-Oleum double coverage modern mint, gloss modern mint. So you could pick whatever you want, whatever color. You could even clear coat it. So if you like the metal look, just clear coat it, but whatever. So I'm gonna paint it, and my tips for painting is always paint when you're painting an object, stay 12 inches away, like a foot, 8 to 12 inches. You never want to spray this close, because you're gonna leave drips and it's gonna be too thick and uneven. So always spray this far. And while spraying, what you're gonna do is do thin layers all around. A thin layer, just cover the whole thing, and you're gonna let it dry. So I'll show you guys that. So also when you're spraying, as you press down, you move like this, side to side. And I'll show you guys, I'll demonstrate it. You don't want to just paint straight, like you want to do like a layer, cover it evenly, do an even cover. And it's practice, but as long as you stay 12 inches away, you shouldn't make mistakes. So another little tip, before you spray, clean the tip. If you have already used it, put it upside down and spray it a couple times, so you won't be spraying so you could clean the tip and you won't be spraying so it won't sputter on you. So that's if you have an old, and make sure to shake it really well. Shake it for like about a minute, 40. If you haven't used it in a long time, you shake it for like about a minute. So whatever, here we go. So, and there's always something called overspray, where, as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the fumes, they're just going everywhere. So this is better you do outside, because the overspray could get on things, and it is removable, but it just depends on where you're painting. Like if you're in your garage and you have a car in there, I wouldn't spray this on there, because the overspray could get on your car and you would have to clean your windows The good thing about overspray is that it's not permanent. It's just yeah, you don't want to do it. So you see how I did that? It's nice and even. So I'm gonna do one more coat. So like I said, 12 feet away, 12 inches away, you're doing light coats on it. And you, of course, be sure to get every side, every corner. But be sure to stay away the 12 inches, because you don't want this dripping. You don't want your pedal dripping. So that's it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do one coat. I'm not gonna go crazy and do another one. You could go ahead and do another one, but my advice is don't make it too thick. This is spray can, like you don't want to make it, well, you don't want to make something too thick where it's a cake, where if it scrapes, it's so thick you could just easily scrape it or the paint off. You just want it like thin. So this is the first step to this, and the last step is going to be the gloss. So what you could do is, if you paint this in the morning, you could probably gloss it up later on in the evening, but my advice is to at least let it dry 2-3 hours. And always get fast drying paint. You don't want to get the other kinds of paint that take too long. So I'm just gonna let it dry here, and my advice is best to let it dry overnight. Especially if you're gonna want to like do designs on it, like if you guys want to paint something on it, draw something on it, let it dry overnight. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a stamp on it, and after that I'm gonna gloss it. So I'll be back with the next video. Okay, so this is the next day. I let it dry. As you can see, it's really smooth. You could touch it. The paint I got had a gloss on it already, so it's kind of glossy. It's just ready to, right now at this stage, what you can do, you can draw on it. Either draw on it, whatever, sky's the limit. You can even relic it if you like a relic look, and think what I'm gonna use to clear gloss it will be this. You could use that, a gloss, or you could use a satin or a matte if you don't like it all shiny. It's all preference. I like using gloss. I just think it looks better. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna put a stamp on it and then gloss it, and that's about it. So I'll be back. Okay, so here are the end results. It's all done. It's just ready for the gloss. It looks way more vibrant and good than how the camera's capturing it. But now it's the gloss. I'm gonna gloss it now. And like I said, sky's the limit. When it's at this stage, you could draw on it, you could stamp it. Sky's the limit. You can do whatever. But after you do whatever you choose to do, you be sure to gloss it so it could protect it, make it permanent. So how I did the splash, I didn't have time to record it, but it's very easy. So this is what you do. Whatever color you pick, you spray it onto the cap itself, or maybe a little cup you have, whatever, doesn't matter. Spray a good amount of it, maybe like for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Actually 10, not too much. Then you grab it, and you have to do it kind of quick because the paint is fast drying. So you get kind of like 12 inches away, and you just splash it like that. Just throw the paint at it, like use your wrist, and then it just splash like that. And in this case, I say less is more. Don't go too overboard. I went too overboard. I should have just stopped that twice, splashing it twice, but still came out okay. But okay, so I'm just gonna gloss it now to finish this up. Some people, they could they write like the volume. I don't really like how that looks, tone with the Sharpie and gain, but I think I don't like how that looks. You could probably stamp it on there with metal stamps. But here we go. I'm just gonna gloss it, and how you gloss it the same way as you spray it. Just put a layer on it. So here we go. Sorry about that. I'm holding it with one hand while I'm trying to I'm holding it with one hand while I'm trying to gloss. I don't have a good stand for this. And honestly, my gloss is running out, so you don't want to do that. My gloss thing's running out, so I really have to use it wisely. So I'm just kind of covering the top, which is the most important part, because that's where, you know, you stomp on it, and that's where the protection's needed most. So that's it. It's just gonna dry, so it's protected now. It's protected now. I'm just gonna let it dry there for a good while, and it's permanent. So I'll do the video of it put together and etc. So there we go. Sorry for the shaky video, but you pretty much just get the idea. And there, I'll see you guys back with the last video. Okay, so this is the last of the video. I put the pedal together, and this is the end result. I ran out of gloss, so it could have looked better, but I also bought these custom knobs because the original ones were ugly. So there you go, a pedal makeover that looks way better than how the factory did it. So tell me what you think in the comments, and I'll probably do more of these. Yeah, if you're interested, just send me, for me doing this for you, you could just send me the case alone. Could probably do it. Now you could just do it on your own. It's not that hard. So, alright. Hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask. Take care.